She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, is it good to be back, everyone? We are back. Welcome to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 135, presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them in just a little, but today is Friday, September 6, 2024, and as always, I am joined by the MMA guru down in the beautiful state of South Carolina, Joey D. Joe, how are you doing today, kid?
Hey, doing good. Coming off a hot night last night.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, I watched this morning. I watched one. They had their Friday fights as usual. But tonight, live on Amazon Prime Video, we got 168, headlined by Jonathan the General Haggerty. He's taking on Superlek in a highly anticipated matchup for the one Muay Thai featherweight championship. You know, we would have had Cade Rutolo against Mikey Musumeci, but you know, Cade is still recovering from an injury he sustained at CJI. If you remember, we had that event a couple weeks ago. Other exciting fighters on his card include, you know, teenage sensation Jojo Ghazali, UFC alum John Hands of Stone Lineker. He's competing in a Muay Thai bout, and even Hitman Liam Henderson in the co-main event. So, I mean, it's just a stacked card for tonight and get us ready for the rest of the weekend.
My question, because it came across my timeline about one and the problems that they're dealing with Karate Combat, President Assam, he came out, declared war on One Championship. He claims that multiple One champions won a fight for Karate Combat, and they want to expose their One Championship contract. He went on the Michael Bisping podcast, Believe You Me podcast, and he went on a huge rant declaring like war that he has for One Championship. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I think it's just that the contract is really restrictive. The One's contract basically owns the intellectual properties of the fighters, like the entirety of it. You thought that the UFC was bad with how they pay them. They still give their fighters a little bit of freedom to venture out. I think the One owns them outright. And so, yeah, I think that they may have owned some of, you know, I think it goes also to the camp. They have the GOAT Shed that he is. President Awesome has the GOAT Shed as long as running the show at Karate Combat. So I think some of his fighters have complained about, you know, being stuck in whatever contract situation they have going on. So yeah, it's unfortunate to see that, but we want these guys to be able to, you know, compete across different promotions. That's why we haven't seen many One guys venture outward. They're kind of stuck.
Is this a problem moving forward for One? And are you going to start to see more people or more fighters move off of the One promotion? Because I think that's been a really good promotion for fighters and for us bettors to bet on.
You know, I think they may compensate, like if you're starting out a little better. So I think there's some incentive to, you know, start out with One, but then, you know, as you become a bigger star, that's where I think you see this conflict. But yeah, starting out early, I think you get compensated a little fairly than the UFC. So there's where you get caught up.
Yeah, I just saw this on my timeline this morning, and I said, I should bring this up to Joe. I know they're fighting tonight, and it's crazy because we like President.
Yeah, and they're also strict too with their fighters. Like One, you can see what they did with Mikey Musumeci. You know, they
missed weight.
Yeah, but they asked him to cut 35 pounds within a week. And that's just not fair, nor is it healthy. It probably isn't safe. It's probably dangerous for him to do so. And then for not doing so, not being able to make the weight, they stripped him of his belt. So not a good taste, not a good look. I think, you know, this promotion does have a lot of potential still. They just got to stop shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, wanted to talk about that right off the tip, first 5 minutes of the show. But we got a great episode for you guys. Well, I know Joe, he's red hot now, back at the Dana White Contender Series. We'll talk about that. And away. I mean, we'll talk about our pound for pound top 3 in just a minute. UFC, like I said, back at the Apex, UFC Vegas 97, a very good welterweight fight headlined by Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady. We got Bellator San Diego as well. And then 10 seconds left. We are packed. Octagon 60, Cage Warriors 176, and BKFC 65. But Joe, we will start in Dana White Contender Series last week. All 5 winners won contracts. I mean, but the biggest one was, don't know how to pronounce her name, but Yusenli Dubin. I mean, she was a plus 900 underdog, and she knocked out Shannon Clark in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Dana White didn't even wait till after the I guess, show. Yeah. And he gave her a contract right then and there. He gave her a bonus as well. He said, "You are not broke anymore, honey."
No, man, dude, that was so intense. And I had her, man. So it hit plus 350 with these women contests, man. They're just slowly they're very closely contested and
Yeah.
slowly, growing on us. And it was the first one of the women's we saw in the Dana White Contender Series. And boy, did it deliver. That was just intense. Nobody expected that, except for maybe me, so I'm giving myself a little pat on the back here because everyone had, the MMA Barbie. They had Shannon Clark. I mean, you look at her in there, she looked like Kayla Harrison, how massive advantage she had. But, she threw her little combo and just wasn't expecting the overhand right. And Yunizi Dubin, she caught her flush and put her lights out. So that was a fantastic win. And it got the crowd rocking. And Dana White out of his seat, gave her the contract before the post-fight presser, and it was just it was.
Did you see Sean Shelby? He was like, "Oh my god!" Like the girl was. I thought I was generally concerned for her. I was like, she wasn't getting up for a sec, and
hitting the canvas hard too.
Or her head bounced off the canvas. That's what you really worry about, because they're already out at that point. So when they're taking initial blow is what's the problem. You mentioned looking like Kayla Harrison. I thought it was Kayla Harrison for a second. She literally looked like Kayla Harrison. I thought that was funny. But, we mentioned, trying to get a finish for the boss. But, the last two guys, Santos and Sing Young Koo, they won unanimous decisions, but they were dominant. 30-27 times 2. Hung Ya Koo, he won 30-27, 29-28 times 2. So you could still get the decision and still get a contract to the big leagues. Is that surprising you now?
Yeah, and they were both upset wins, and I think that came into factor as well because I was looking at Jordan Santos, man, and Will Curry, he kind of might have put the final nail in the coffin for me looking at Cage Warriors. A guy I'm going to talk about in 10 seconds left had his chance, and he's a champion for CW, and he didn't do well when he got to the big show. So, man, they're not doing so well. I think also Shannon Clark was Cage Warriors alum. So, we're not getting wins from them. And Will Curry was highly anticipated, a lot of hype behind him. And the Jordan Santos, he had to answer for everything. And so that big dog hit. And then same for the main event. I saw that Igor Cavalcante, he's a little wild in there. And I looked at Young Ko, and he's a little more of a technician. And I just thought that would get him to the show, with the straight shots as compared to the looping wing ones. And if he could deny the takedowns, which he did, man, I think he would have sailed. And that's what we saw was a dog in both the main and co-main event.
He definitely was the more technician practor or technician fighter. I thought Hung Ya Koo. So yeah, definitely good call there. You go 5-1. We also have another rear naked choke. Austin Basher defeated Dorian Ramos as well in the second round. He got a contract as well. So all 5 winners in the UFC are in the UFC right now. We also have a rematch booked in the final week of Dana White Contender Series. Our boy Nicky P and Jack Duffy, they will go at it again. Nick won, I think it was last week. He won a split decision against Duffy. Dana White came out after week 4. He said,
we're running it back.
He said, I didn't agree with the decision. I offered him a rematch week 10, which my calculations are correct. I think it's around October 15th, around the 3rd week of October. So
is that the final week?
It's the final week. Both have accepted. So we're going to see a rematch week 10, kid.
Hey, it was an exciting matchup. We saw the wrestling pedigree with Pickaninny, and then Jack Duffy is a dog in there. So we argued that even though he came out on the short end of the stick, he could have been awarded a contract, a loser getting a contract, something we haven't really seen before, but it could have happened in that spot. So now hopefully the winner of that rematch will actually get a contract and we can get an answer.
Are you surprised they're running it back?
You know what? I didn't see it coming. I thought that maybe would get something like, one of them thrown into a UFC card in the early prelims, something like that, where it just surprised you. Like, hey, I remember them. They didn't get the UFC contract, where it looks like they got a 10-10 and then, or a 15-15 and they're in the show right now. So yeah, I think it's good for both guys. And you know what? I'll be rooting for the two of them. I think let's have an exciting fight. If they both, put the pedal to the metal and have maybe better exchanges on the feet, maybe there's a chance to get them both in the UFC. We'll see.
Just don't wrestle. Just keep it in your back pocket. I know you could do it, but it just didn't seem like the boss man. He was too thrilled about that. So, but should be a very, like you said, very entertaining fight as well. Tuesday morning, though, before Dana White Contender Series, I mean, we had a fight over there in Tokyo, Japan at the Tokyo Dome. In a way, he knocked him out. It's stoppage. It was like a doctor stoppage.
Dog, it hit him so hard in the body, and it wasn't even a liver shot, that it hurt his back.
It is a back injury to TJ Donley
from a body shot.
I mean, he defends his undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO super bantamweight world titles. I go 1-1. I hit on a nice plus over 4.5 round.
Nice.
And I almost cashed the knockout in the sixth
One
round.
round.
It was 1 round. But
One
yeah,
round in the
those
seventh.
body shots, kid, I mean, they were a factor.
Yeah, not much, value in what I got. A lot of chalk, but yeah, I hit with the KO TKO. I saw him getting out of there. I didn't know when. We agreed it would have been in the later rounds, which happened. And, to get a back injury from that just shows how much power. And I think we talked about it. We have these top 3 in a conversation of who's number 1 pound for pound. I'm going to go on this, D-Rock. It's a case of what have you done for me lately? Right now, Inoue is the most recent to fought. I'm putting him at 1. And then we got Bud because he fought more recent to Usyk. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Usyk at 3. So if Usyk winds up fighting before the end of the year, if he gets a victory, we'll put him at number 1. And then we see Bud again, and he'll go number 1. And we'll just have this revolving door of these 3 because I have yet to see any of them lose.
It's recency bias, and it's just so hard for me not to put the undisputed heavyweight champion at number 1. He's quote unquote the world's boogeyman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still hard for me not to put him 1. Alexander Usyk is number 1 for me. I put Inoue at 2, and then I put Bud at 3. I mean, my question to you, all of them aren't losing. Who do you think the first one to take a fall?
Man, I don't see Inoue having much competition. We mentioned that, it will come down to seeing if, Jesse Bam Rodriguez can, get the next way up and get some titles there. And then maybe we could see them clash in next couple of years. So that's not, going to happen anytime soon for Inoue. There are some matchmaking for Bud Crawford, and he's also getting up there in age. I feel like being at the heavyweight division, the power is going to be the last to go. And Usyk still possesses cat-like speed, living up to his nickname. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take it on Terrence Bud Crawford. I feel like there's a lot more competition around the weight classes he's competing at. It seems that Usyk, he has Fury and a possible fight with AJ after. So, I mean, to be honest, I might favor him in both.
Yeah. Well, Daniel Dubois might have something to say about that soon about AJ. But, I agree. I think, and he's going up, like, not just 1 weight class. He's going up 2 weight classes, Bud Crawford. That is the scary thing as well. They have weight classes for a reason.
Credit to him. That shows his character.
100%.
Nebraska boy.
He's a fucking amazing. After the fight, Bob Arum came out. He said Inoue's next fight will likely be for the IBF mandatory challenger, Sam Goodman, on December 24th, Christmas Eve in Tokyo. Then the plan is for him to share the card in Las Vegas, and the ideal match for him would be Junto Nakatani. Yeah. Do you like that matchup down the road?
Yeah, highly competitive, and we'll see guys that have those records, with like TJ Doheny, he didn't really have the record to back it. He hadn't been finished before, and that was one of the first times we see him get finished. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna see now, higher level competitions, guys that have, those not to say padded records, but ones where you got 27-1, 27-0 with a ton of knockouts. So yeah, I think it makes for better fights.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait. I think he gets past Sam Goodman, and then that match come 2025 against Junto. I think that will be a really good match to go
probably
to
in Japan somewhere.
Well, no, they're saying April in Las Vegas.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Bring him to the States. Yeah. Let's start building that star a little more, because
I guarantee you, Joe, if Inoue is walking down the streets of New Jersey, people aren't going to know who that fucking guy is. Me and you will know who Inoue is, but people are going to be like, oh, he's just a Japanese guy.
Well,
like, hey,
he's growing up. That's what I'm saying. His stardom is growing, and then that's how you do it. You bring him to the States, and you start, bro. That's like what 168 is going to be. It's going to be in Denver. So, nice. Bringing over, foreign promotions is what you do to build the brand.
Yeah. So my pound for pound, like I said, I'm going to keep the heavyweight guy there. I know it's, what have you done for me lately?
So still 1, 2, 3 for you. You still got
No, I put Inoue at 2.
And
and I put Bud down at 3. And I agree to your point. I do think the first person to lose their O would be Bud, just because I think he's taking on the toughest challenges out of the 3 guys. So
if he walks out of it, then there might not be an argument. He must 100%. Be number 1.
He might be number 1 overall all time. I mean, so yours is Inoue 1, 2 Usyk, 3 Crawford, or?
I think Bud had a match more recent than Usyk. So yeah, I went that way. I went with Inoue just fighting at 1, Bud at 2, and Usyk at 3. Like you said, Regency.
I love it. Recency bias. I love it. Let's go. Before we get to our picks, we are back with the picks at the Apex. A quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition, with only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or a new flavor, coconut, watching UFC Vegas 97, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, let's get to it. We will go back to Las Vegas, UFC Vegas 97, headlined by a welterweight bout. Number 6, Gilbert Burns taking on number 8, Sean Brady. Prelims go off a little early start time, 4 p.m. here on the East Coast, 7 p.m. start time on the East Coast as well. I'll take it away. Go. What you got, Joe?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Gilbert Durino Burns, man. And I like that he's in the main event here. So, you know me, I'll mention the entirety of the card. And it kicks off for UFC Vegas 97. We got the featherweight division. I think we're getting this rematch back. I don't have an official play, but it's between Zigamontes Ramaska. He's a dog in this spot at +115 against Nathan Fletcher. I'm -125. So, like I said, no official play, but I thought to give you the odds. And if you want to get started early, by all means, get involved. But I'm not. So, in the next fight, this will take place in the middleweight division. Andre Petroski. He's a -260 in this spot against the mindless Hulk, Dylan Budka, at +225. You know, Dylan Budka, he likes to stand and bang, and Andre Petroski, he wants to take you down and play his game. And Dylan Budka, it seems that holes in his game has been the submission and being able to defend takedowns. So, you know, Petroski seems to be back on track after that weird finish that he had against Jacob Malcolm, getting that hip check and getting knocked out, TKO'd, whatever happened there. I do think the 2 in a row wins, though it was split his last time out. I think he's got it back, and I think he can get a win here. So I'm going with Petroski with a prop inside the distance at +200. Let's get some value off of him here. Like I said, Budka has trouble dealing with the takedowns, and Petroski, you know, his game is to get the submissions, but he does some ground and pound finishes. So I think either one could happen in this one. Give me Petroski inside the distance at +200, trying to get value for you early. And now we move to the women's strawweight division, where Jacqueline Amarin is -300 in this spot against Vanessa Lil Monster Demopoulos at +255. And I think everything on paper would say that Jacqueline Amarin, you know, is going to have the advantage. And I think the odds are on the right side of things. You know, she's a finisher. She's only lost via decision, and that's by Sam Hughes, if I'm correct. You know, Sam Hughes, she's always there to surprise you and get a victory when you least expect it. So, you know, you can't really knock Amarin for that. But, you know, my money's going to be on the dog in this spot. The reason being is Lil Monster. She's made me money in his dog before in the past, and I'm keep riding that wave. I'm going back to the well. If you're making me money, I'm going to stick with you until the wheels fall off. You know, Tony Ferguson all too well. That's my boy to this day. To this day. +255. Give me Little Monster Demo. I'm taking her in the dog spot. And it hit just like what he did with the women's in the Dana White Contender Series. Let's go. So I don't have an official play in this next fight, which will take place in the featherweight division. I don't have any, I think, of the guys coming from the road to the show, road to the UFC. In this one, Gabriel Santos is a favorite at -250 against Yeehaw at +220. Don't know too much about the guy. I've done a little research, but I just don't feel comfortable in taking a side, and there's not much value with Santos, so I'm going to stay away. No official play in this one. But, man, now we made it to what, in my opinion, is looking at it on paper and based off their past performances, probably going to still fight in the night here. The flyweights, another treat. You know who you like the small guys here because speed kills, man. Andre Lima is -170 in this spot against Felipe Dos Santos at +150, man. And I got the fight going to distance at -200. I took some dogs early, and so don't hate me for taking this -200 play here. And the reason being is that I think, like I said, it's going to be fight of the night. I think it's a closely anticipated matchup. I think it's contested very evenly, you know, on the feet. I think Felipe D'Antona, the only issue with him is if his IQ's up to par, because we saw Andre Lima his last time out before the bite. he was on his way to losing that bout with the takedown. So he's need to be a little wary of Felipe Dos Santos' ability, to take him down. Felipe Dos Santos has submissions in his back pocket, and I feel like that's going to be his path to victory. But I don't know how intelligent of the matter he can get to that point. So, like I said, if they're going to wind up standing on the feet, two guys that are Brazilian superstars, strikers, fun, exciting athletes in their prime, I think we're in for a treat with this one. So, it's going to be hard to finish either guy. I got this fight going to the judges. I think it's a toss-up between the two. So you do see some value in Dos Santos with his ability to submit and being a dog, making it 50-50 in the decision. So I just have it going decision at minus 200. Let's take that.
I mean, fighting a guy that bites people, on principle, I got to take Felipe Dos Santos. I mean, he trains with Charles Oliveira, and he was a dog. I mean, coming in on short notice in his first fight.
Andre Lima didn't bite. He got bit.
It doesn't matter. He's psychologically done after that. I mean, Felipe Dos Santos, he could crack.
He gave Manol Cap a run for his money.
That's what I'm saying. So I find it very hard that this guy's the underdog here. So little sprinkle on the dog.
I like the live pick, brother. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we win some people some money in that one. Man, in the next fight, it's a featherweight fight. Isaac Delgado, the Midwest Chopper. I love that nickname. That's a dope nickname, man. He's minus 2,400 against Brendan Moreau.
He's a beast.
Man, he's a beast. I think the odds are right in this one. Brendan Moreau plus 1,300. I don't think he has a shot, but I think what people are expecting is from Moreau to get knocked out based off the T-Rex knockout he received last time out. But the Midwest Chopper, you look at his amateur bouts, you look at a majority of his fights, though he can get first-round finishes on the feet, he's got a lot of submissions, man. Give me some value. Get that minus 2,400 all the way down. I got the Midwest Chopper via submission at plus 155. It's likely it might not hit, but I'm taking a shot. I want to get some value out of this dude. I think he's the right side any which way, and the other ones are a little too chalky. So I'm going to take him via submission at plus 155. Isaac Delgado. And now I think the featured bout of UFC Vegas 97, and it's in the lightweight division. Zhu Rong is minus 230. Yeah, he's a favorite here in this spot against Chris Padilla at plus 210. I don't have an official play yet again. Like I said, the Road to UFC guys I've done some research on, and I've watched them fight, but I want to see how they match it with some UFC level competition. Granted, Chris Padilla hasn't been there all too long. He's still there for a reason. So I don't know which way to go. I have no official play. But we've made it to the main event, and we are back in the lightweight division. Trevor Peek, man, standing hammer fists. Minus 125 against Yanel Ashmouz at plus 115. I've been jibber-jabbing our way. D-Rock, what do you have in this fight?
Yeah, grab your popcorn for this one. Peek Ashmouz, I think it's going to be action-packed, and I think this is going to be the likely front-runner for fight of the night. Both guys extremely durable, and, they swing for the knockout usually and far more often than not. However, I like Yanel. He's flying under the radar against Trevor Peek, who, in my opinion, less technical. Peek, he'll look to throw those sledgehammer-like punches, but he's not really accurate, in my opinion. If he doesn't KO you in the first round, he usually loses. So I'm going to take the plus money here. Give me the dog, Yanel, on the money line plus 115.
Hey, not a bad choice. We're going with the Red Fox in this spot. He looked good. He finished Sam Patterson at his debut, and not a lot of people expected that. Man, that was shocking with the power that he possesses in that one. But then coming out against Chris Duncan, I think Chris Duncan just warned him, took him down, made that gas tank fade. And, Trevor Peek has seen the same kind of deal. Chet Mariscal, it was a good fight, but you could see that the later rounds he started fading. Charlie Campbell, the same thing. So, I'm concerned on this because I'm still got question marks about Yanel Ashmouz. I wonder if he is as technical as you say. So with the question mark still involved, if Yanel Ashmouz is as technical with the power, your ticket's live. But I'm on the opposite end. We'll go with Trevor Peek. I'm going to go with the Southern boy throwing standing hammer fists. I think that if we go power for power, I'm going to go with America. So give me USA Trevor Peek, baby. I'm going to take him minus 125 on the money line because it could go to the judges. I don't know if a submission's in the play. Maybe you want to squeeze it down with a double chance, but let's just have fun. May the best man win. You got Yanel Ashmouz, and I got Trevor Peek. Let's move on to the next fight here, and will take place in the flyweight division. I like the flyweights that we have on display, but, Matt Schnell was supposed to take on a different opponent. Alessandro Costa, stepped out due to an illness. And here comes Cody Durden. He becomes the favorite. Cody Durden's minus 280. Matt Schnell is plus 250, rightfully so. Cody Durden, granted, coming off a loss, I think he had a better performance than Matt Schnell did his last time out, you know? So I unfortunately, as much chalk as there is to lay, I got to go with Cody Durden. I think the wrestling could play a factor here. Even though Matt Schnell's got wicked jiu-jitsu, Cody Durden putting that pressure on, you know, denying maybe anything that gets thrown up his way, whether it's a triangle, whether it's an armbar attempt, you know, especially if it doesn't happen in the first round, these guys will get wet, they'll get slick. And at the flyweights, once again, the speed is going to be a factor. So I'm just saying it straight up, since it was a last minute fight, give me Cody Durden. I'll let you guys decide if you want to make a parlay, because I don't have one for this card.
Yeah, short notice for Cody Duran, not a problem. I think both fighters, I think they're going to continually press forward and look for a finish. Matt Schnell is as tough as they come, but his chin just doesn't hold up, and I really don't expect this time to be any different. You know, Cody Durden coming off a KO loss, he might be hesitant to stand and bang, so I do expect him to utilize his wrestling a lot more. And you know, once he gets on top of Matt Schnell, I think he look for Cody Durden to get the finish here. I would take inside the distance. Under 2.5 rounds. I love that's my official play, under 2.5 rounds at -185. But I think Cody Durden gets Matt Schnell out of there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, both guys coming off, you know, tough couple fights. So I like the fact that he didn't get completely iced, and Matt Schnell did in the last two consecutively. So that's always worrisome. But yeah, smart play. Let's go here. I think we're at the featured bout of UFC Vegas 97. And man, it's in the featherweight division. Kyle Nelson here at +155. He's taking on Steve Mean Machine Garcia at -175. D-Rock, I'll hand it off to you. Do you have anything in this featured bout?
No, nothing for me in this fight.
Man, do you like anything before I say my word?
I was leaning Kyle Nelson at the dog money, but nothing I came to the window with.
Man, you know, Kyle Nelson, I think he was a dog the last time against Bill Algeo, right? And I mean, I think he was a dog in Fernando Padilla fight before that as well. So he's on a 3-fight win streak. You know, he's looking good. But man, you know who's looked better? Steve Garcia getting these knockouts, bro. 4-fight, I mean, finishing where, you know, Chase Hooper's on a rise and how good he's looked against his stand-up. And a 4-fight win streak, all finishes. The Mean Machine is the real deal. I like Steve Garcia. Love his training camp. Love his partners. I love everything he has to offer here in this spot. So I'm taking Mean Machine Steve Garcia on the money line at -175. You know, I laid it on a higher chalk. This ain't too bad. This is still playable for you guys. And now we're at the co-main event. Yeah, I didn't expect to see it this soon, man. You know, when you mentioned this fight on the MMA news a while ago, I thought we'd have this fight on a pay-per-view, but we have it here in the co-main event slot for the women flyweight. Jessica Andrade, the female BMF. She's a dog in a spot at +275, and maybe rightfully so, with the superstar brewing and Natalia Silva at -300. This time, can I hand it off to you, my man?
Oh, absolutely. You know, Jessica Andrade, she looked great in her last 2 fights, picking up back-to-back wins. However, I don't think she gets a win here. On the feet, I think Jessica Andrade carries power, but Silva, in my opinion, better striker, higher volume, and the more accurate striker. You know, if it were to hit the ground, I do think Natalia Silva, she has 7 submissions to her name, and she has the jiu-jitsu to fend off Jessica Andrade. So I got 2 plays. I like the over 2.5 rounds, -167. And I love Natalia Silva in this spot. Her last 2 fights against high-level competitions went the distance. Andrade, last fight against Marina Rodriguez, also reached the final bell as well. So, you know, I think Natalia Silva, she keeps it on the feet, utilize her distance, striking, keep on the outside. And it leads to me taking Silva via decision at +110. I think it goes all 3 rounds. And I think Natalia Silva, after this fight, is 1 fight away from the belt.
Yo, bro, I love it. Yeah, and you know, as much as we respect Jessica Andrade and her ability to step in on short notice and make it a fight, no matter where she goes around the world, Natalia Silva, we have high expectations for this woman, and we think that the world of her. I mean, her striking, it seems to be second to none, and the fact that she has all that in her back pocket, you mentioned, you know, the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, you know, she's going to be a tough test for anybody. I love Natalia Silva in the spot. She's got to pass this test against Jessica Andrade, and if we have her, you know, getting to that title shot, she needs to win this one, and she needs to win her next fight. So I'm with you. I got Natalia Silva. I took her straight up because, yeah, like I said, I don't know which way to play. You have gave me so many options there. Could go to the judges. If we see her finish Jessica Andrade, though, I mean, dude, depending on what happens in that division, we could see her maybe get boosted up to a title shot. We've seen it before. If they're looking for new blood, Natalia Silva could be the perfect one. So I'm all over it.
Do you think she passes like an Aaron or a Manel Fior? Because Manel Fior is already weighing in next week at the backup. So I think Manel Fior is next.
It's giving me remnants of the flyweight division for the men's. We had Steve Erceg coming out of number 11 and get a title shot.
But they didn't have anyone to step up. They have girls to step up, whether it's Rose, Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. Like, they have people. I think Natalia Silva, as good as she is, and I'm the biggest Natalia Silva fan, I think she's still one fight away.
And I think that's a fair assessment, absolutely. But who has been the test to get to the title? You had to pass the Andrade test to get to the title. And so this could be true
Aaron
again.
Blanchfield did. She knocked her out. And she still didn't get a title shot.
Hey, yeah, that's true. There you go. Good point. Because I was going to say, I think from before, most of the times we've seen people have to get to the title. They had to go through Jessica Andrade. And you're right. Someone did come out on top and still didn't get a title shot. So, hey.
They hate Jersey. That's what it is.
That's probably what it is. Or they saw flaws in her game. And that's why maybe Natalia Silva goes out and does something even more spectacular. Maybe there's a chance if all these other matchups need to go, you know what? You guys figure it out. We're going to go this route.
It's like my grandfather always used to tell me, if there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. Yeah, shout out Big Ed, yo. In the welterweight division, we're here for UFC Vegas 97, the main event. We had the return of Gilbert Durinho Burns. Haven't seen him since UFC 288, right?
I thought Jack Della Maddalena.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, Jack Della Maddalena. At plus 160, man. He's taking on Sean Brady, the Philly guy, the Philly native. He's minus 180. He's favored in a spot. You know, both guys competed against Bilal, the current champion. Sean Brady got finished. Gilbert Burns was injured when they fought at 288. And that's what I was going based off. You're right. Gilbert Burns did have a Maddalena fight in the midst of it. But I'll just say mine before I hand it off to you. You know, Sean Brady has looked to improve, but if Gilbert Burns is as decorated as he says with the grappling, I think we can have a little, void going on there in terms of the scrambles, in terms of the takedowns, in terms of the jiu-jitsu overall. So if this becomes a stand-up feat, who's going to have the better striking? I think precedent says Gilbert Burns for me. I think Gilbert Burns may have a little more power. Look what he did with Khamzat Chimaev, a bigger guy. Look what he's done with other guys. And, Bilal finished Sean Brady on the feet. Gilbert Burns with the injury survived and went the distance. We saw that live. So Gilbert Burns is still a dog in his old age. Going with him here as a dog. Plus 160 on the money line. Give me Durinho.
Yeah, Sean Brady opening up a near to 2-1 favorite is extremely shocking, I thought. Burns, you mentioned it. He's the better striker on the feet. But, this fight will be competitive when or if it ever hits the ground. Brady, obviously, top-heavy wrestler and grappler. But Burns is one of the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world, I would argue. So
all time.
I feel like when two really good grapplers fight, it kind of becomes a kickboxing match for 5 rounds. And if that does happen, I got to lean with Gilbert Burns here as well. I don't see Sean Brady submitting him or outstriking him. The only way Brady wins is out wrestling him for 5 rounds. And I wouldn't put my money on that. I got to take the better striker, the more powerful striker. And I think the better fighter. No disrespect to Sean Brady. I like the East Coast kid. I think he's a good fighter. But we always talk about it. There are levels, and Gilbert Durinho Burns, he's been around there. He's fought the harder competition. I'm going to back him in this spot. I don't think he should be this big of a dog. So plus 150, I was able to get. I love the dog here.
Right on, brother. Yeah, great work. I love this card, man. We're almost 3 away, right? 3 more, and we're at UFC Vegas 100. We can do it. We can make it.
Oh, we're making it. All right. That's what we're doing. All right. I fucking love it. Thank you so much, Joe. Good luck there. And after, because we got a little early start time for the UFC, we'll go on over just a little more west and a little more south down to San Diego, California. The Bellator Championship Series going down in, I think it's the Pechachinga Arena down in San Diego. It's somewhere down there, but it's headlined by a lightweight championship, Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Alexander Shibli. Joe, I'll let you go because I only have a fight in the main event.
Yeah, not bad. Sticking it with the main event, more known fighters. The prelims consist of a lot of ex-NCAA champions, Bryce Meredith, Jordan Newman. But Jordan Newman, he's got a test against Imashafi Aliyev. So that's going to be a tough one. Both undefeated guys. And you know how, the Russian wrestling can match up with the American freestyle. So just wanted to mention some of the preliminary athletes that we have. But in the main card, here we go. It starts in the lightweight division, a little moving around, but we got Yancy Medeiros, a UFC alum, at plus 350 against Jorah Ivazan at minus 350. And if this fight stays standing, Yancy Medeiros is a tough SOB, man. The Hawaiian native, the dude's got hands for days. You know, we have seen the trouble. It's when it does hit the ground. And Jorah, he could grapple because he's got that Armenian wrestling, and it could happen. And so rightfully so, he could be the favorite. But I'm taking the dog. I'm taking the spot. I'm taking the guy with the hands. Give me Yancy Medeiros here. And plus 350 odds. I love the plus money. You show it with a guy like this. Like I said, the finish may not happen early. It may happen late. And Yancy Medeiros is, like I said, a problem on the feet. So I like the toughness the guy possesses. Plus 350. I'll take it in my back pocket. And now we go to the flyweight division, the women's flyweight. So Miko Inaba is minus 160 against Mackenzie Stiller at plus 145. A lot of people are favoring this Hawaiian native, Sumiko Inaba, but I'm going to be fading her in this spot. And I'm not taking Mackenzie Stiller straight up on the money line, even though, you know, it's favorable with the dog at plus 145. I'm going one step further. Mac Judo. Mackenzie Stiller is great with her submissions, great with her takedowns. If Sumiko winds up in the clinch, she might find up on her back. Give me Mac Judo via submission at plus 450. I'm taking a lot of dogs in the past couple of women's fights. You'd be a fool to think I want to be doing it here.
Real quick, Joe, real quick. I wanted to, because we just got an update on a weigh-in. Dylan Buka, he appeared to be on the verge of collapse when he stepped on the scale. He was 2.5 pounds heavy. He needed help to fight, not fight, to get off the scale and get down of the podium.
Not good.
Apparently, he's been cleared 5 minutes ago. He's been cleared to fight, but he will be fined 20% of his purse for the miss.
Damn, it's never good to see that, man. You know, that's worrisome. But
like you said, we're getting to the health aspect. Like dropping 30.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. But, you know, to be honest, if you normally miss weight, normally you get a little higher boost, a percentage to win, as we have with fouls that occur. But if he was that bad on the weight on the scale, it makes me think that the inside the distance for Petrovsky is likely. That plus 200 might hit for y'all.
Get it in now.
Yeah, get it in now. I hate to say it like that, but you know, it's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So we got to the featured bout of the Bellator main card. It's in the middleweight division. Douglas Lima, the Phenom, is plus 145 against Aaron Jeffrey at minus 165. You know, everyone looks at Aaron Jeffrey as the potential that he has, but he's won all the fights he should have and lost all the ones he should have as well. It's a case of that. You look at the high-level competition he's fought, he's fallen short. Aaron Jeffrey seemed to not be able to put it together when he faces these high-level fighters, and Douglas Lima is exactly that. He's also only lost to, like, the who's who of the division and hasn't been finished since, 2007? Douglas Lima at 35 years of age is still in his prime. He's still got hands. You know, I know he's lost 4 prior to, you know, the Van Steenis fight, but they were all decisions, and they could have gone either way. Douglas Lima's still there in the thick of it, and I got another dog here, plus 145. The dogs are barking in this Bellator series, man. Give me the Phenom, Douglas Lima at plus 145. I'm looking for him to get a finish, actually. I would love to see it. Let's move to the co-main event. It's in the welterweight division. Lorenz Larkin is minus 105 against Levon Chokeli at plus 100. Chokeli, Georgian guy, he looked good in his last outing. So did Lorenz Larkin. And I'll be honest, most of the times that I play Lorenz Larkin, I hit. Whether I'm fading him or I'm going with him, this is just unfortunately one of those sides that I'll be fading him because I like Levon Chokeli's age. I like his speed. I like his determination. And these Georgian fighters are on the rise. So at even money, plus 100, give me Levon Chokeli to shock Lorenz Larkin and shock the rankings of the Bellator. And I think he'll be on his way to maybe a title, or maybe he wants to compete in the PFL version of it and, you know, fight maybe 3 or 4 times and win the $1 million. He's the type of guy that I see still young in his career that can do so. And it starts with getting a victory over Lorenz Larkin. That's a big name to get as a feather in your cap. So Levon Chokeli, let's see, even money, plus 100. So far, 4 for 4 with dogs in this Bellator San Diego. What can go wrong as we make it to the main event? And the lightweight division, as you said, for the championship, Usman Nurmagomedov's minus 375 taking on Alexander Shabili at plus 350. And if you think that, you know, we've done it with the dogs, it's about time we pick a favorite, you are wrong. I'm taking Alexander Shabili to upset the Nurmagomedovs and give him his first loss. Look at the competition that they fought, right? There's a breaking point here. both fought Brett Primus, right? Usman Nurmagomedov beats Brett Primus by decision, and it's completely written off his record because he had to use steroids to get the win. Alexander Shabliy, he finished Brett Primus. So MMA math never equates up, as I always say, but I'm going based off that. I want Alexander Shabliy with his 10-13 fight win streak that he's possessed right now, the similar competition that they fought, the level that these Russian guys, when they say they see him in camp, they see him in, fight, he's one of the best fighters in the world, they're saying. And so this is a way to prove it. You got to beat Usman Nurmagomedov, get that O away, and get the championship from him. I think it's possible. Another dog, and it's plus 350. Dogs are absolutely barking for Bellator, my boy.
They are absolutely barking. I love it. Yeah, Usman Nurmagomedov, huge favorite. My play fight to go to the distance, minus 160. 17-0 Nurmagomedov obviously looks to defend his streak, try to go undefeated. But you mentioned Alexander Shabliy. He's been on a tear. Beat Brett Primus, Patricio Pitbull as well. He's a technical striker, and he has exceptional grappling as well. However, Nurmagomedov is just a different level of opponent, I think. I do think Nurmagomedov is the right side. I think he's going to impose his will, turn this into a 5-round wrestling contest. He's not going to stand and try to bang and strike with Alexander. That's not the pathway to victory here. Get on the floor, wrestle him for 5 rounds. I would use Nurmagomedov in maybe your anchor in a parlay, but I do think it goes bell to bell. So my official play, fight to go to distance at minus 160. But I would take Usman Nurmagomedov. I just think there are levels to it. Yes, he's on a tear. He's beating up some guys, but it's the Nurmagomedovs for a reason.
And who's going to be in the corner? Habib's still undefeated in the corner. So
and he still might be on PEDs. So we don't know.
But I think it's going to be a treat. I think it's going to be a good main event. To be honest, most of the fights, that makes me think that it could be fight of the night, that main event, especially if Shabliy shows up.
Yeah, 100%. Prelim start at 5. Main card starts at 8 on Max, I want to say. Yeah, Max. So
is that HBO Max?
No more HBO. It was. Now it's just
okay.
Max.
I just want to understand what Max is.
It's just Max now. I was confused too. But so before we get to 10 seconds left and we get out of here, we got some news. UFC 307 OSP will take on Ryan Superman Spam October 5th at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City.
Canceled for this weekend.
Yeah, it got canceled for this weekend. Got rescheduled for October. You like this fight for OSP?
I did until the fight got pushed back. And now I would think that Ryan Spann may has more time to prepare, maybe dust off all the bad feelings that he had in his last couple of outings. Superman Spann may right the wrongs, and he's a little younger, maybe a little more fresher than OSP now, past pushing 40, over 40, it'd be a shock to see OSP actually get a win again.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, we didn't expect that to happen the first time he made his return, and now if he does it again, I mean, damn, OSP's back. It's like, what the hell? So I'll be honest, like I said, this weekend I would have probably went OSP just because the value we're getting from him. Dogs are barking this weekend, but now it's getting pushed back to sometime in October near my birthday, man. I think I might switch it up, and I might favor a little more of Ryan Spann.
You got some time to figure it out. October 5th, UFC 307. Let's go to 308. Mention your birthday, October 26th. Armen Petrosyan, he got a fight against Shara Magomedov, the Bullet, the Pirate. That is a banger of a fight.
Yeah, Petrosyan likes to stand, and he's a tough test to pass. A lot of people underestimate him, but look at his resume. He's done great in his career, and on the feet, if it stays standing, he always presents problem. He's a really good striker, but so is Shara Bullet. And I'm gonna keep riding Shara Bullet until I see him, come across a really good wrestler. Armen Petrosyan is a stand-up guy. So it'll fall into the game plan of Shara Bullet. A stand-up fight, I'm going to favor the Pirate.
My only worry with Shara Bullet is if it goes long into the fight. We've seen him gas out a little bit. First round, he's a menace, but this is second and third rounds that I worry about. So.
But still being able to throw those kicks at that clip and still have that tank is just, just 100%. Says what imagine how good he would have been if he had 2 eyes.
Yes, exactly. Let's go to UFC 309 over here at the Mecca, November 16th. Veronica Hardy.
Hey,
She will
your
take
girl.
on Eduardo Morana. UFC 309. She'll probably open the card. Love my girl
Yes.
Veronica.
Yeah, get in, get out with a win. We're putting the money on her for another
exactly.
quick win.
And a banger of a fight, UFC 309. Jonathan Martinez will take on Marcus McGee. I think that's a banger of a fight.
Damn, the Dragon has been on a tear, but man, so is it the Maniac, right?
Yeah.
Marcus McGee?
Yeah, the Maniac.
Bro, he fights like one too. But yet, in his older age, kind of being like a veteran rookie, he seems to be seasoned, and I like him as a fighter. I think that's a really good one. As much as you think both guys are very durable and talented, and you seem to be picking the fights going the distance and they've been hitting, something tells me I think either guy has the ability to finish. I think that fight ends inside the distance.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't think we're gonna see all three.
No
rounds
judges in that one.
Yeah, no. Let's go to UFC Vegas 99, October 19th. Darren Elkins, the beast, will take on Daniel Pinilla. I like that fight for Elkins.
Yeah, Daniel Pineda's still good, man.
Is,
for the fact of being in the UFC, but that's what's going to happen, right? Daniel Pineda, he's going to have to put it on and get Elkins out of there early. Otherwise, the damage is going to show up. And here comes the second and third round, and it's just a whirlwind of just blood and guts, and you just get absolutely drowned in it. So, yeah, Darren Elkins late, if not Pineda early.
Yeah, he's going to make this a barn burner. And then another fight that got announced for that card, Jake Hadley taking on Brady Heastand. Okay. You're a Brady Heastand kind of fan, I feel like. You like
he's
him?
Had a couple falling off, but what is it, a Tough alumni, right? Not Dana White Contender Series. He's from the Tough. And yeah, I think he still has to find his footing in the UFC, and I hope that he does it here. Yeah, I do like Brady Heastand.
Yeah. And then we have a little switch up here for UFC Edmonton, November 2nd at the Rogers Center. We have a new main event. It will not be Rose Namajunas and Aaron Blanchfield. That will be moved to the co-main event. New flyweight main event. Brandon Moreno will take on Amir Albazi. 5-round main event. Maybe a title eliminator, kid. I love this fight.
Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I didn't expect Brandon Moreno to come back so soon. He said he's going to take time away. I guess the time is up. It's back for him to get into camp and get ready to fight and defend his ranking against Amir Albazi, who, he's looked good in the last couple of outings, but after getting injured, we haven't seen him in like over a year now. There's a lot has happened in that flyweight division without him, so he needs to kind of get back into the mix, and this is a great fight to do so for both guys. I like either fighter in this one. I probably would make this one go to the judges. I hate to say it because, both are very tough. Seems that Moreno is the one to get a finish, and so is Amir Albazi. Neither one of them are the ones to get finished. So that's a match made in heaven to have a great main event.
100%. I mean, I cannot wait for that one. That is going to be a really good fight. No odds yet. I was looking because they have Aaron Blanchfield and Rose odds. Right now, Aaron Blanchfield minus 130, Rose plus 110. They will be barking all right. Oh, by the way, I know we talked about UFC 307 and with the whole Pereira Khalil Roundtree. There are odds now up because when we talked about it, there weren't any odds.
Oh, is it whose line is it?
Yeah, whose line is it anyway? Can you guess the main event?
Alex Pereira minus, I might go like minus 190, minus 195.
Alex Pereira minus 410, plus 350 for Khalil Roundtree. I mean, there is value with the dog.
There's value. There's value, bro. I mean, he's driven, motivated. We said it. I think that trip to Joe Rogan's studio, the Joe Rogan Experience episode he did, the MMA podcast, helped him a lot. State his case and get to that point that he now has a title shot off of a failed drug test, regardless of whatever the circumstance is. That doesn't happen far too often. But I mean, as we keep hearing from Joe Rogan himself, Khalil Roundtree fights like you just killed his dog. So he's going to come out there and this ain't going to no ground. Khalil Roundtree's going to Texas medal as a Muay Thai guy, leaving his home. All the journey of Khalil Roundtree has been amazing, but so has been Alex Pereira. These are two amazing storylines clashing in for a last-minute expected main event. I don't think many people expected this, but when you need someone, call Alex Pereira.
I mean, the whole I love all the dogs. Raquel Pennington is a plus 150 against Rocky, minus 175. I like Kayla Harrison. She's minus 700. But Aljo, plus 160 is
Yeah.
insane. I get Mozart Ivalov, he's undefeated, but minus 200, a 2-1 against a former champion in Aljo.
I wouldn't lay that for him.
I
I don't
wouldn't
have enough
either.
confidence in him to do so.
No.
I'd lay minus 200 in a fight going to distance as I did
Yeah.
earlier, but not for this guy who has question marks still.
The only fight I'm worried about is this Jose Aldo and Mario Batista. Mario Batista minus 170, plus 145 for the Rio King.
Give me the King of Rio, bro.
Yeah, King of Rio.
Yeah, give me the Rio King.
Even Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is an underdog against Joaquin Buckley, plus 125.
That fight worries me because you know how much of a fan I am of Wonderboy.
Yeah.
I think Buckley is on the rise.
Yeah, and then the last one is Roman Dolidze. He's a plus 135 underdog against Kevin Holland, who comes back at minus 160.
Roman Dolidze is going to have to make it ugly. He's going to have to take him down. Otherwise, Kevin Holland's going to piece him up on the feet.
Yeah, but that's all I had, kid. I wanted to let you go with that. 10 seconds left. We got Octagon 60, Cage Warriors 176, and BKFC 65. Take us away.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get too cute because, Jeremy Stevens is competing in the co-main event of BKFC 65, but I'm touching the main event. It's the Women's Flyweight Championship. We haven't seen Kristen Ferreira lose against anybody, and Jade Messon Wong, I don't think she's got what it takes. I like the tougher, more durable, and harder hitting Christine Ferreira. She's minus 175. That was the more playable options of the favorites for 10 seconds left. But in Cage Warriors 176, George Hardwick, he is the lightweight champion for them. And I got him. I had him. He burnt me in the Dana White Contender Series. He's the one I explained earlier, who the Cage Warriors haven't had success getting to the UFC, but he's minus 549. And I'm going to take him with the KO TKO. I think that, though he didn't do good getting to the UFC, he's gotten a lot of standing finishes in Cage Warriors. I think he'll do the same. So no odds posted just yet. I looked ton for it, but squeeze that minus 549 down and get that KO TKO bonus going. And then an Octagon 60. It's a lightweight fight. Ivan Buchinger, he's minus 135 against Lam Ali Eskaju at plus 130. I guess you look at the resumes, you can see that Ivan Buchinger, 40-fight veteran. And Lam Eskaju, he has 7 losses on his career, but look who's streaking right now. Buchinger, he wins 2, he loses. He wins 2, he loses. He wins 2, he loses. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. Expect a loss because Eskaju has been streaking and getting a lot of knockouts. So I'm taking Lam Ali Eskaju in the dog spot at plus 130. So that's for Octagon 60, Lam Ali Eskaju plus 130, Cage Warriors 176, the champion George Hardwick via KO TKO, and then BKFC 65, the flyweight champion Kristen Ferreira minus 175. Let's make
all going down tomorrow night, correct?
Yes, sir. All tomorrow night. The only thing that'll take place this evening is 168.
Let's make it a month in a row. Let's try to get the month. I know we were on 3 weeks in a row. Took a little break last week. We weren't going to force anything, but he came back with 3 picks for 10 seconds left. Joe, let's have a great UFC 97 Bellator Champion Series. Hopefully that is entertaining as well. Good luck. God bless. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.